Modern warfare runs on a constant draw of power. Every spinning radar dish, every single air defense battery, and every mobile command center requires a steady supply of electricity to stay operational. In the occupied territories of Donetsk, the Russian military has sustained its offensive by tapping into the local grid, using power stations that were originally built to serve the Ukrainian people. This creates a severe strategic problem for Kiev. To stop the enemy, they have to target the power grid, but using explosive drones would mean destroying their own national infrastructure. If Ukraine chooses to level these facilities, they would inherit a ruined grid and a multi-billion-dollar reconstruction bill once the territory is liberated. To gain a tactical advantage without sacrificing their future, Ukraine needs a way to disable Russian-held bases while leaving the buildings themselves standing. They found the answer in a non-lethal payload designed to trigger blackouts rather than fires. This is the soft bomb. Ukraine is equipping mid-range drones, specifically the FP1 and FP2 models, with payloads of microscopic graphite filaments. Standard Russian defense protocol relies on anti-air systems to detect and destroy incoming drones before they can reach a target substation. This is where the physics of the payload changes the engagement. If a Russian missile intercepts the drone, the explosion simply scatters the graphite fibers over a wider area, allowing the conductive dust to rain down regardless. In this scenario, the act of shooting the drone down is what activates the weapon, making traditional air defenses an unwitting part of the delivery system. The weapon relies on a simple physical property. Graphite is highly conductive. When thousands of these microscopic strands settle over a power facility, they act as hundreds of unwanted bridges, connecting components that are supposed to remain isolated. As current flows through these new pathways, it vaporizes the fibers, creating ionized channels that trigger massive surges. This trips failsafes and forces the entire system to shut down. On the ground, Russian command and control centers are suddenly plunged into darkness. Digital monitors go black, forcing officers to rely on slow, analog methods like pen and paper to send instructions to the front. Simultaneously, the local radar and air defense networks lose power, effectively blinding the Russian forces in the area. These localized blackouts create a temporary safe corridor in the sky. While Russian crews struggle to replace fuses and clear the dust, Ukraine can send in conventional missiles to hit high-value targets without being detected. This strategy ensures that once Russian forces are pushed out, the power plants themselves remain intact and can be quickly returned to service for Ukrainian citizens. Ukraine's innovation is the adaptation of a high-budget superpower strategy from the 1990s into a tool that can be deployed by a single drone operator. During the Gulf War, the U.S. Navy used Tomahawk missiles to drop reels of carbon fiber, successfully short-circuiting Iraqi military infrastructure. NATO later employed similar soft bombs in Serbia, disabling an estimated 70% of the country's power grid during the conflict. By scaling this concept down, Ukraine has turned a multi-million-dollar cruise missile tactic into a mass-producible drone capability. Ukraine is home to roughly 18 million tons of graphite reserves. Even with the disruptions of war, the raw material for these payloads remains a significant national resource. This material advantage becomes more significant when paired with long-range drones like the Flamingo, which can reach targets up to 3,000 kilometers away. If Ukraine chooses to deploy this technology at long range, it could trigger blackouts across major Russian industrial and civilian centers far from the front lines. This conductive dust offers a way to trigger localized blackouts across the Russian rear, complicating the logistics of the invasion without causing the level of physical destruction associated with conventional strikes.